We're talking about a player that for the last 2 years, he's averaging roughly 1,900 yards from scrimmage. 1,900 yards from scrimmage. Like, are you kidding me right now? Let's eliminate Le'Veon Bell from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have no running game. They become solely one-dimensional passing game, throwing the ball at least 45 times a game with Ben Roethlisberger, with no Le'Veon Bell that's going to come out of the backfield and add to that passing game now all of a sudden. You lose too much. It's not just about what he provides in the running game, it's what he provides in the passing game also. The complementary second receiver, if you will, to Antonio Brown. Even though we have Juju Smith-Schuster and all these other guys, Martavius Bryant, you have guys in weaponry outside on the perimeter, but you have one of the most elite backs in the league, arguably the most elite and talented back in the league that can both run and catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's a great pass protector. You got everything you need in this guy, and you're not willing to pay him. This is why I hate the franchise tag. I absolutely hate the franchise tag because it eliminates a player's opportunity to see the open market, and it forces them to do it another year, trying to avoid injury and trying to make sure that their numbers still meet the requirements that they need to have to gain the money.
Whose fault is that? Your Players Association who agreed to that.
We're not talking about the Players Association right now.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't like the fact that I don't like the tag. I think that the Steelers are making a huge mistake, and it has nothing to do with they see something that we don't see. I know what he does.
Did you read my notes?
Look, here it is. When we look at the Washington Redskins, they see something that we don't see in Kirk Cousins. Yeah, what they see is that they don't want to pay this player.
No, but I see what they see with Le'Veon.
The same with Le'Veon. And we've had this last year with Eric Berry. He told the Kansas City Chiefs, look, if they tag me, I'm sitting out. So this is the first time we've heard a player say this, and I think these teams have to do a better job of just valuing what they have. I mean, I get it, you're going to use your leverage, but come on, guys. These players have a short window to make this amount of money. Don't do them like this.
I get your point about the franchise tag, so I have some compassion there, but I get it. And you know this too. Running backs, they don't age like wine. So, as you got to make sure if you're going to make such a commitment to a running back, their careers don't always pan out.
That's the point.
Okay, but I'm saying I understand, and I understand why the Steelers have pumped the brakes. There's been a couple suspensions, wacky tobacco issues that's going on. Yeah, something like that. And then last year, which would have bothered me, before a big playoff game, and again, Chris, the press asked him maybe about his situation and the contract, but he talks about the week before they play the Jaguars that he's going to sit out. He's talking about a contract sitting out or retiring. That's not that. I don't want to hear that.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't if he wouldn't have been tagged. If they would have just extended him, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
My point is that conversation shouldn't happen the week of the playoffs.
Now, you would have been the reporter asking.
I probably would have. But if he would have said, I don't want to talk about it.
Come on, this is your money, man. You got
The other thing is, too, looking at football, Pro Football Focus, he's dropped 91.9 to 85.4.
I'm
Chris's favorite site.
Quarterback.
It's run by the football.
Plus minus.
Wait a minute. No plus minus, but he also.
I think Kevin Colbert's the GM's son runs that.
No.
In the basement.
Also dropped like a yard per carry, right? It was 4.9 to 4.0, and only 3 rushers of 20 yards or more, which was a career low. So all I'm saying is, I could see why they want to pump the brakes right here, take another look, make sure his head is right, make sure he's doing everything, and then next year give him the contract. I think they want to keep him. He is a great player. He makes them so much better, but I think I want to pump the brakes one more time and then
really quick, Chris, the problem that I have with that is the longer you push out a guy and say, show me one more year, the running backs, to your point, their shelf life isn't that long. So pay the man.
But you see both sides, because if the shelf life, if he's going to run out in 3 years, why am I giving him a longer-term contract? I see what you're saying, and I feel for Le'Veon, but they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at the bottom line, and this is very tough for me because of all the things I love about football, to me, there's nothing like watching a great running back. There's nothing like seeing a guy break a 50 or 60 yarder.
Like we used to watch Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I mean,
like
so
other than watch a great receiver play.
Well, I love receiver play, but I would rather see a breakaway run than a bomb. That's just me. So and Le'Veon, as you said, is among the best in the league. There's no question about it. But when you look at it, I think objectively, I'm with Rob. I see why they're offering the franchise tag. Because here's the thing. He made $12 million last year. He would make $14.5 million this year on the franchise tag. The highest paid running back in the league per year, Devontae Freeman, makes $8.5 million. The second highest is LaShawn McCoy, and then Jonathan Stewart. They're at $8 million a year. So even if Le'Veon's upset, but even if you just play under this franchise tag for one more year, you are essentially making the same money that the other top paid running backs in the league are making for 2 years. So looking at it from that standpoint, when I throw in the injury history, forget the wacky tobacco, the injury history. He's been banged up. He's had 2 knee surgeries or knee injuries. And so that's something else to worry about. Then you talked about how much he brings to the team. They're 42-20 with him, 11-7 without him, a little bit better with him. But they actually score more points per game without him. 26.7 compared to 25.2 with him. They have more total yards per game without him. Now, obviously, like you said, Ben makes up for it with the passing. But my point, and then in the red zone, they got a higher TD percentage by a nice margin, 52% with him, 64% without him. So my thing is, if I'm still going to be a playoff team, and when he only had 6 games a few years ago, they still made the playoffs. If I'm going to be a playoff team without you, why am I going to pay you twice as much as the other highest paid people at your position? I can go out and get, I hate to say it, but running backs, there's a lot of good ones out there that if I put them behind the right offensive line, they're going to do work. Maybe not quite as good as him, but I can find some. And so as much as I love Le'Veon Bell and want to keep him, I'm kind of like, dude, the franchise tag, it doesn't give you the security, but you're still making twice as much money as the highest paid running backs in the league. So with his history, you're only 25. Be a good soldier for one more year. Don't get injured for one more year.
Don't get in
Have
trouble.
a great year for one more year. Don't get in trouble. Then I'll do you long term.
Rob, do they have to make the tag exclusive this year? Do they?
What?
They don't? They don't? Which means if it wasn't an exclusive tag, what happens with a transitional tag or a non-exclusive tag?
Then you can get other offers.
You can get off. So don't do that.
If somebody gonna offer him
Okay.
more than what they gonna offer
Absolutely.
him per year.
Absolutely. I guarantee you somebody
More
will.
than 14, not per year, but more than 14.
Do you see how you're making my point,
Okay,
though?
yeah,
So if you have all that concern, if you think that you can win without me, let me test the market.
Why should I? Like Rob said, your union agreed to these rules.
to this.
You don't
gotta
get mad at
admit
me.
that.
Get mad at DeMaurice Smith and all these guys.
That's a whole nother
You got to
topic.
play by the rules. If I'm the Steelers, I love Le'Veon Bell. I want him in my franchise. They said it long term. But I'm looking at the history, the injuries, the wacky tobacco, all that. And you had 321 carries last year. Is that going to show some wear and tear this year? I'm just saying I have to be responsible for my franchise. And as much as I'd like to hook you up because it's the right thing to do, I got to run a business.
I get all of that. I get all of that. And I get that it's a business. And yes, does a lot of this fall on the players' union? 100%. 100%. Like I said, that's a topic in and of itself. But if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I know what I bring to this team. And you know what I bring to this team. And you're telling me you're willing to go into the playoffs, because we talk about this even in the NBA. Regular season is one thing. You know, in NFL regular season games, they all count.
Right.
But if you go into the playoffs, teams start to game plan you completely different. And the more weaponry you have, the more arsenal you have, the more bullets you have for them to scurry around, the better odds you have of winning. The Pittsburgh Steelers without Le'Veon Bell does not do anything in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Because they become completely one-dimensional.
I'm not asking you to play for free.
Right, the money
That's $14.5 million.
That, but if you give me a guaranteed contract of $40 million guaranteed versus a guaranteed 1-year deal, I'm taking that, Chris. Come on.
Of course you taking it, but if well, the Steelers too, you know they don't guarantee long term. They give you the bonus. They usually only guarantee the signing bonus. So they might give him $20 million up front, guarantee that, and then your year-by-year contract is not guaranteed. That's usually how the Steelers do it.
That's all with your agent and how you guys structure things out. I get all of that, but my point is, guys want to be locked in so they have a guaranteed for their future.
I get it.
And I understand it's a business, so the teams have leverage. That's why I don't like the tag, because the player has no leverage. The player can't say, I'm not playing this year and then still get paid what he was going to get paid. No, he loses out of everything.
I agree. Yeah.
The arguments are great here. I just wonder if we can stop saying wacky tobacco.
No,
can we just be a little cool? Just a little cool.
I mean, what would you like?
I would rather just say marijuana.
No,
just
we got to
call
call
it what
a
it is.
T-shirt company.
The
They're
wacky
putting them as
tobacco.
we speak.
You don't have to use the actual terms. Least cool dude of all time. All right, Klay Thompson, can we go?
I don't know anything about the wacky
Right,
tobacco.
sure.